Hello and welcome back to the Divine channel. I'm Lisa Divine and today I wanted to do a video talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes! The game that I have been playing for practically half of my life. Yes, on and off of course, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a very big influence in my life and I thought I'd talk about it. Yeah! So today I've come to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of simulation in VR chat. Here we go, yeah, where you can play like it was a Duel Links in VR chat. If I just grab the camera now, one sec, and go back to this, and let's see if I can get it on me. Here we go, you can see me now. Yes. If I turn this around, here we go, and if I go here first, you can see like the Kyber Corp building there. I run up to it over here. A nice little thing up there. I can turn it on and off, but it was nice. It's a nice little feature to have in this thing. So we come up to the Kyber Corp building there. VRG is what the place is called. So Yu-Gi-Oh! VRG, yeah. You can't get up to the tower as far as I know, but you can literally make a deck in this sim using this, I think, to search for stuff and move things over to here. Deck gallery. It says soon, so hopefully they'll be able to do it. And as far as I know, you'll be able to go there. Make a deck, have it, build it there, and literally take it all the way down where I started, down here, to actually play it in Duel Links style. Yeah, because there's only 3 zones, you'll see now in a sec. But when I get there, oh, we're getting to it. This is the arena that they have for doing this. So if you go around here, you can see there are 3 spaces. 3 spaces, just like in Duel Links. So pretty much, or speed dueling, or Duel Links. Yes, they got dice and they got a special guest. This guy! Yeah! But anyway, let's get on with talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so I'll just position myself again. Hopefully this will be okay. Woo. Go like this. Bam, and put on anchor it in world. Let's switch it around. Bam. And then I should be able to literally spin it around. You face me! Yeah, if I back away a bit. And let's adjust this a little bit. Here we go. Oh. There we go. Okay, now I can turn off the flying. Okay, you can see me. I'm mostly in the frame. That's good. Okay, right. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a very big influence in my life, and it has practically changed my life for the better. Yes. When I was younger, if you've seen my video about Akira Toriyama, I was kind of picked on, a bit of a loser, a bit of an outcast, didn't have many friends. But then I had my cousin who introduced me to Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I think we were like 14 at the time. So he introduced me to Yu-Gi-Oh! He was too cool to let his friends know or ask his friends to play it, but he knew I was a nerd anyway, so he actually came to me and introduced me to Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime, and we started watching it, and the moment that we heard that there were packs available in our local catalog shop, we went down there as soon as we could. The moment the weekend came, we went down to our local catalog shop to get either Yu-Gi deck or Kyber deck. Because we were literally there at the beginning. Wow. Many years. But when you got to the catalog shop, they kind of ran out of all the Yu-Gi and Kyber decks, so we were a bit disappointed then. But still, there was one other option. There was a newsagent's nearby, yes, and they were selling the first 3 packs that came out in the UK, where I'm from, which was Blue Eyes, The Legend of Blue Eyes, White Dragon, Metal Raiders, and Spell Ruler. It used to be called Magic Ruler, but I think Wizards of the Coast had a problem with that. So, yeah, we both got a pack each of them, so I got Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, and Spell Ruler. My cousin got the same, but the first pack I opened, Legend of Blue Eyes, had a Raigeki in it. I was very lucky to have that, and that was a brutal card when the game first started, because it wipes out my opponent's field completely. Yes! I also ended up getting a Labyrinth Wall, which was another good card at the time. It had 0 defense, level 5. It had, it had 0 attack, level 5, and 3,000 defense. Yes, so it was an impenetrable wall at the time, at least. Not even Blue Eyes could beat it because you got to have an attack that's higher than the defense of your monster. So yeah, that kind of put me in the lead for a little while with my cousin. But he tried very, very hard, and we still enjoyed it. For up to a year even, we really did enjoy it, and he stuck with it, and he always wanted to beat me. I think he managed a few times. Yeah, I think he did manage a few times, but for the most part, I did win because of the advantage I had. But anyway, after we had gotten used to playing it for a while, we actually got to see the Battle City anime series, and we learned that we have to start tributing now. Yeah, we were playing by Duelist Kingdom rules before, so that made it a little bit more complicated. My cousin mainly wanted to start doing Battle City rules because, well, I was kind of owning. So he wanted to put an extra thing in the way of me actually getting big monsters out. But that was fine. I learnt it, and I learnt how valuable things like Summon Skull was and so on, and my defense, of course. We did a bunch of trades. I managed to get some decent trades out of him. He got some out of me as well. And we kept on playing until the Yu-Gi-Oh! First movie came out. Yes, we went to see the first movie, but when it first came out, I made sure to go get myself a Battle City Dual Disc. Yeah, because I wanted to meet more people to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With. I knew they'd be interested if I came in wearing a Dual Disc. Because it had just come out, and I only just caught it from the same catalog shop that we went to before. I think it was the last one, so I was very lucky. And then the day came where we went to go see the movie, and I met a kid who was really impressed by my Dual Disc, and he told me that he could get me the God cards. So I was very interested. Yeah, so we watched the film, enjoyed it, and he started at the end of the movie, he came up to me, started talking about stuff, and he was pretty new in the area, so he was looking for friends too, and we got on quite well. So got to know each other, and the following weekend, I think, I went over to his place at the time with my cousin, who was also playing Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time. And we were using the Battle City rules. I don't think he was at the time, the kid, right? But we told him about it because he built a deck full of Andro Sphinx and Sphinx Talea and all those ones from the movie. And he was doing quite well amongst his friends, but then we came along and said, nope, got a tribute now. So he kind of, it gave us quite a bit of advantage, and he did quite well against him. But he wasn't despaired. He wasn't upset about it. He was like, teach me, please, teach me more. And I was more than happy to, because I like helping people and teaching people, as I found out later on in my life, especially when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! So I taught him more about it, told him what is good, what's not good at the time. Was a very long time ago, so well out of date for today's standards. At the time, there was only effect monsters, normal monsters, fusion monsters, spells, and traps. There was no Link, there was no Zeus, or XYZ, whichever one you want to say, and there was no Synchro or Pendulum, so yeah, it was quite basic back then. And he didn't even have archetypes. No. So you could just combine anything into a deck that you thought would work, and it usually did. With a bit of experience, of course. But yeah, after the success of that and him, getting all the help from me and my cousin, he told us about some more people who wanted to play the card games, and we arranged for each weekend to go to our local cinema, or theater or cinema, that had a public space upstairs that was hardly ever used. And we started hanging out there together and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And trading and everything else. I got to meet even more people. This is the thing. This is what Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done for me. I've met lots of people and made lots of friends through it, where otherwise I would have kind of been a loner. A loner, outcast, loser. but hopefully other people can relate to how that feels. So that's why Yu-Gi-Oh is really important. So continuing from there, we started doing regular meetups to play card games on weekends in this theatre place. Made more friends, they brought more friends, and it became quite a success. At the time, I was still me and the friend I met in the movie. We'll call him Connor. Yeah, we'll call him Connor, okay? Me and Connor were the top of our game. Yeah, at the time. This is talking about like 2004. So, at the time, we were best in our town, and he always wanted to beat me. Everybody wanted to beat me, but I was on the top at the time. At the time, okay? Not anymore. But still, at the time, I was at the top in this town that we lived in. Everybody wanted to beat me. Con wanted to learn from me, and he wanted to beat me as well, and we got on quite well. We had lots of fun, actually, and I liked teaching people the game, and I was good sport about it, you know. I'd be quite nice, especially if they were a new person. I'd want to challenge them, of course, see what they could, this skill level, and I'd usually kind of give them the first win anyway. So, but you know, afterwards I might pull out the big guns, but still, it was something that helped build their confidence. So, and it kept them happy. And that's what was most important to me. I wanted people to be happy. I didn't want to be completely brutal and nasty to them. And say, no, you'll never, ever be able to beat me. No. So I tried to be a good sport with it. People appreciated it. And then the next big thing happened in my town, with our little Yu-Gi-Oh community we built up over the time. A hobby store opened up. And the moment it did, I was working at the time. I had started working. Yeah, so we're talking about, you know, from the beginning, 4 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, being at the top, that was pretty good. At the time. But I was working and a hobby store opened up in our local town. And they were doing things like Magic the Gathering. They were doing like D&D stuff. They had replica weapons, armor and stuff. All those things, you know, it was really nice. They had tabletop games. And they did... I don't think they did start off with. I suggested, I think they had Magic the Gathering, and I suggested, well, there's a community of Yu-Gi-Oh players here in this town. Maybe it'll be good to get some Yu-Gi-Oh in. You know, it might help their profits and stuff. And at first, at least the guy in charge, not the person who owned the business, but the guy in charge, the manager of the place, didn't like that idea at all. No. He said he thought only Magic the Gathering was the only way to go. Yeah, because he didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. But I pressed upon him, and I told him, just give it a try. Just give it a try. It could work out. And guess what? It ended up being one of their most successful business things they had. So it was the things that sold most, other than their hobby stuff. But, you know, I think it outbeat or outsold even Magic the Gathering at the time. It was a good idea. And then they started doing game nights there as well. Every Tuesday it was. And I'd always make sure to be there. Yeah, I lived out of town, but I was working in town. So whenever there was a game night, I'd stay in town from work, go to a lovely cafe that I'd always have like fish fingers and chips and strawberry milkshake. Yummy, yummy, num num num. And wait for it to be time for them to open up again and do their game nights. And I was still at the time on top, but things were getting a bit closer and closer, yeah. I think one of the times I can mostly think of, if people have any reference to it, older people I guess, it was around the time that Cybernetic Revelations came out. Yeah, that was a pack which had Cyber Dragons in and had the Cyber End Dragon for the first time. Yeah, it was around that time that this shop started doing these game nights and everything. And it's still pretty good, but there's a lot more stuff that people could use against me. I started to feel a bit of pressure. Yeah, because everybody wanted to beat me. I'm not the most competitive person, so that is when I started to feel the heat, because I was like, oh, I gotta keep so ahead of everyone. Every time there's a new box, I gotta buy an entire box just to keep ahead of everyone. Oh! But still, we all enjoyed it. And as I said before, it helped make loads of friends and meet lots of people, and this is the main thing, it keeps a lot of young people out of trouble. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of young people out of trouble. So it was doing it, and that suggestion of mine was doing a service for the community. So yeah, it went quite well for about maybe 2 years or something, and then they came into some legal difficulties. I think one of my hands died. Has it? No, not yet. Good. They came into legal difficulties because they called this hobby shop Helm's Deep. And if anyone knows anything about the people who owned the Lord of the Rings movies, they were very sue happy, if you can say that. Suing happy? Yeah, they wouldn't sue anyone that used anything, any names for things that had anything to do with the game? No, with the movies or the books. You know, J.R.R. Tolkien probably would have appreciated it if places wanted to call themselves Helm's Deep or Rivendell or so on, or Shire or anything like that. Even The Hobbit. Because I know there was a story about a pub in UK that got shut down for being caught, or being sued at least, for being called The Hobbit. But they managed to, yeah, they didn't lose it. They were called The Hobbit, and people who owned Lord of the Rings, the movies, they tried to sue them, even though the Hobbit name had been around for that particular place years before the movies even came out. So yeah. So, but unfortunately, the people who ran the business that had the hobby shop and this cafe that I liked, they weren't so lucky, and they had to shut it all down. They managed to keep one place called the Shire, but even that got shut down after a while, which was very sucky. But then one of the other people who worked for that place founded their own shop for Yu-Gi-Oh! And hobbies and everything else, which was completely different and didn't have any problems. But by that time, I was getting to like age 21. So we're talking like from 14 to 21. I was on top. But then I got to 21 and I moved away from the town I lived in. Yeah. To a place that I used to live, which was bigger. And I thought it'd be more like it was mainly for work and for like prospects in life, because a little town is not good for a young person really. You need to be in a big place with lots of opportunity. So I moved to Cardiff, the capital of Wales. Yeah, and I lived there for about 3 years. The only thing is though, I kind of put Yu-Gi-Oh behind me for a while. I did try once, I like kind of moved to the place, didn't play for a year. And then I felt like, ooh, I'm getting an itch for playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe meeting some friends, you know? And I did try to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event in that town, in that city. And I was a year out of date, and I kind of got beaten by a little girl. Literally, a little girl who, I'm trying to remember what she used. I think she like literally used Ojamas and just Waboku, and somehow it completely owned me. It's so shameful. Oh no, it's terrible. But still, it drove me to try and get better. I was a bit on and off a bit when I was in Cardiff and so on. I didn't meet that many friends there at the time, because things just seemed quite kind of far away from each other, and people weren't as connected as they are in a smaller town. So I didn't do that much Yu-Gi-Oh! For about 3 years, and then I kind of moved to somewhere else called Chester, yeah, which is North Wales, on the border of England and Wales. And I spent maybe a good couple of months there, but then I got the itch again. Another itch to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, or itch to make friends. Yeah, itch to make friends. And literally, I looked on, I think it was Facebook or on the internet, and I looked for anywhere that had like any Yu-Gi-Oh stuff going on. And I heard of a place called, at the time, the Scythen Teacup in Liverpool. Yeah, which is only like a 45-minute train ride, so it wasn't too bad. So I started going there. Yeah, to Liverpool, this Scythen Teacup place. And I really enjoyed it, actually, yeah. And I met even more people. I started off kind of as a nobody there. And I was quite out of date. But I saw what people were playing and I tried to catch up. And I think at the time, what was going down was things like Infernity cards, and trying to think of the ritual ones. I wish I remembered what it is, but Infernity was a big one at the time. It was before XYZs came out, so and people in that place were actually playing on regional levels, because they would literally go to regional level tournaments. In its own place, I think they held some regional stuff. So I had to up my game, and I did. To a certain point, I got good with the Infinities and stuff. And what was it? The Stardust cards. Yeah. Ooh, my arm broke. Stardust cards. I really should have prepared more for this, but hopefully people know. I think it's like 2011 we're talking about now. Around about there, maybe a bit later on. So Infinities, Stardust, where Synchro was really kicking off, and I had to get good again, once again. And I did okay, yeah. And then Z's came out, XYZ's came out, and once again I was kind of on the back of it, on the back horse a bit. I eventually caught up and I started playing my favorite deck even to this day, called Madolche. Yeah, I like my Madolche cards. I always go for kind of like, now at least, I don't go very competitive, but if I like the look of a card or a set of cards, I get it. I get all of them and I make a deck with them. And at the time, Madolches was my thing, and I did quite well with them. Even before the updates of Sistart and Petting Sour and Promenade and all this, I did quite well in that. So I got into it. I made decks for Madolche. I think I made decks for Machina and Gears. What else did I make? I think at the time I also made Yosenju decks as well to be anti-meta. Yeah, just because they were all normal summons, I could stop people doing special summons until I was ready using, I think it's called Fossil Diner. I had things like Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure in there. I had Dust Tornadoes at the time, because some people were able to cancel out a lot of magic at the time. I think at the time Secret Village of Spellcasters was a thing, so I kind of went for Dust Tornado instead of that. So I did all that. I even got into Arrow Mages as well, and I did okay with that as well. And with that, I kind of entered a few tournaments, but one of the biggest tournaments I went to was one that was in Chester. At the time, one in Chester that was traditional format. Yeah, traditional format, if people know that. Instead of things being forbidden, all the forbidden cards are reduced to 1. You can still use them, but I went there and I asked them to confirm, because lots of people seem to be thinking, oh, you're allowed 1 forbidden card in your deck. That's traditional format apparently, but no. I double checked with the event organizer and they said, oh no, all forbidden cards you're able to use, you just can only have 1 of them. I was like, ooh, okay. And I made a deck with a bunch of forbidden cards. And I came second in that tournament against someone else who had the brains to actually ask, and he made a deck. I think he eventually beat me with a Red Rose Dragon, or Rose Dragon, yeah. It was very close, really close. Like, I was almost about to beat him, but then he managed to pull out Black Rose Dragon, that's what it is. Black Rose Dragon out of his And he beat me, but still, that was pretty good in Chester. There's people from Liverpool from there as well, so, you know, that's kind of like a North Wales, Merseyside kind of area. So, you know, Kim's coming second, and that was pretty good. So, yeah, wasn't too bad. But since then, for certain reasons, particularly not being paid by the job at the time for a couple of months, not being able to afford to stay up in Chester, I had to move away. Yeah. And that was kind of sucky. And then I kind of had to move back to the countryside. Ew, gross. I had to move back to the countryside, and it wasn't too happy about it. And since then, I've been mainly, once again, on and off on Yu-Gi-Oh! But in a previous video I've done on this channel, I've actually shown that there's a Duel Academy on Second Life, which is a game that I play quite a lot. So it's a social game, and on that I started doing this Duel Academy, and they started kind of from the beginning. When they initially began, this is going back like 3-4 years now, and they're still going now. Yeah. So in Second Life, there's this thing called Duel Academy, which was made by someone in the game, and they made a system in Second Life where you can actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, and see the cards and everything. They got a field and everything. You might be able to see it in the video, which I'll probably put at the end of this. Okay. But yeah, I started doing that because in my local area there wasn't much Yu-Gi-Oh! Going on. The only times I ever really got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Was when I either had friends up to where I live now, or I went down to them, which is only a couple times a year. But when I do get into it, I really get into it. But between those times, I have been on Second Life doing this Duel Academy thing. The first time when it started, going back 4 years or so, they had like the basic original decks: Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, Pegasus, and then they had a Layer of Darkness deck, yeah, which you could buy, and then you could buy packs, and they would give you like a random, like gacha, random cards in the pack and having different rarities. And with that, you could build decks and play them in this Second Life game, in this Duel Academy place. And in the very first tournament they did, I managed to come second in that. So at the time, what dorm you was in was based on what tournaments you won, and me coming second, I got straight boosted right up to Obelisk. But then I kind of fell off a bit, and then after a while I came back, and I was reduced down to raw yellow. But I don't mind. I built my up-to-date decks, especially Madolche, and I think I did manage to make a Yosendra deck. I liked doing a gadget deck. I had a Dark Magician deck as well. But then I lost my account on Second Life. No! And all the cards I got in all that time. Yeah. It's terrible. Oh, I've moved myself around a bit. But I've only recently gotten back into it, gotten back onto the place in Second Life, and I've started building a live twin deck, a punk deck, and I'm only just starting to try and build my Madolche deck back up, because that has always been my favorite and the best one I've had, the most meta one I've had. But still, that's how things are going, and what you guys done for me is quite a lot, because I met so many friends where I would have otherwise been kind of a loner, a weeb, nerd, or something. But it's brought so many friends to me, friends that I've had great experiences with, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'm very grateful for the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kazuki Togashi. Yeah, Kazuki Togashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Before he also passed away a good couple of years back. Yeah. And Konami took over. Which I suppose ain't terrible, but Konami does have a bit of a bad rep these days, especially after Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. But still, I'm still kind of in the game. I'm also in real life. I got all the other decks built up. I got so many decks. I'm also now working on a Valmonica deck, which I think is pretty new actually. Which pretty much there's only like 3 main monsters, or not, you know, main deck monsters out of them all. 2 of them being pendulums, which need to like be on the pendulum zones constantly, and literally 1 that you can actually have on the field. And then the rest is all magics and traps, which build up what's called resonance counters. And then you get all these different benefits from it. And if you pull it off right, you can literally wipe your opponent's field and attack them 3 times with a 2500, which almost kills them. Yeah! So that's what I'm working on at the moment. But at the moment, being that it's only the beginning of April when I recorded this, the main card, I think it's Valmonica Selectress or something. She has not come out in the UK yet. And there's a few other spell and trap cards that are due to come out on the 26th of this month, April 2024. And I'm hoping to get them the moment they drop. Then I might have a viable deck. I might have to do some jigging around of it, but it's my new obsession with it. Yeah, so that's my main one. I might consider doing a punk deck in real life as well, but we'll see how it goes, because I am honestly, in real life, I'm pretty on and off with Yu-Gi-Oh! But still, it's been a huge part of it, and it's brought a lot of positive things to me and other people around me. So I'm very grateful for it, and very grateful to my cousin for introducing me to it, and the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! So there we go. I hope that was a very quick rundown. There's things in between that I could have gone on about, but I could leave it for another video. Like there's my friends in Liverpool. I got into cosplay and stuff with other things in the game, like where I met my bestest friend was due to Yu-Gi-Oh! Which I might mention in another story. Yeah! But with all that said and done, I hope people did enjoy it, even though it might have been a bit rambly. I hope people do like the video, and please subscribe! I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, and I'm only like 9 off. So I very appreciate people to like and subscribe the video, and check out my other vids, and I'll put a link at the end of the video of the Duel Academy that is in Second Life, which people can join. They might have to contact me. They might contact me somehow. I am on Twitter, and on my main YouTube page, you can literally get a link to my Twitter and message me through there. If you're interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! In Second Life, but it does cost money. It does cost money. It does, yes, because they got to pay for the land that they build it on. But yeah, still, with all that said and done, once again, I'll say thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll say peace out, and bye-bye! Bye-bye! Yeah!